This new core set is going to be changing Yu-Gi-Oh! Once again. Infinite Forbidden introduces the continuation of the Diabellstar storyline, a new super powerful FTK archetype, and Exodia support, and even a new Max C. And this is not a clickbait or a lie. This card literally draws every time your opponent summons. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this discussion on whether you should buy Infinite Forbidden. In the case where you decide you do want to buy, make sure to check out tierzerogames.com for the pre-order and use code GALZO5 at checkout. Link is in the description below. Starting off with the first premier archetype of this set, it's called White Wood, and this is the continuation of the Sinful Spoil story, but this time as a prequel. The White Wood's story is the origin story of Diabellstar and Diabells, and we now have two child versions of these characters. The White Wood's strategy is pretty well fleshed out with 4 new main deck monsters and 3 new synchros alongside several spells and traps. The archetype is a spellcaster / illusion archetype that sends spells and traps to the graveyard in order to activate effects or summon monsters. As you climb up the synchro tree in the White Woods, you will summon stronger and stronger synchros, finally summoning them on your opponent's turn to create the most amount of damage and the most amount of interaction. Being able to send spells and traps and accessing tons of different tuners plays really well with the Runic engine, and while this deck isn't seeing a huge amount of success in the OCG at the moment, this deck is very well rounded, has a very strong base and engine, will probably get a lot of support in the future, and can be combined with Runic, Centurion, and even Despia, similar to the Bestial branded deck we saw in the past. And we cannot not talk about the cover card of the set. It's Exodia support once again. Who would have believed it? 2024, Exodia, obliterate. Yeah, new Exodia support, hooray. And while this set is obviously an Exodia themed one, there's a new crazy version of Exodia on the cover, and the Millennium archetype that supports this fusion monster is actually very strong completely on its own. While this Millennium archetype's effects are rather gimmicky and are specifically made to make Exodia playable, the Millennium retrains Golem, Sengengin, and Shield are just free engine extenders similar to Horus. You can place any of them from the hand to the spell and trap zone as continuous spells and just pay 2,000 life points to summon them. Free bodies, big free bodies, just tons of extenders, and they're seeing a lot of play in the OCG today. And the coup de grace, Fiendsmith. This is the archetype you're going to want to save for if you are a meta or competitive player, because this engine is busted. Probably the most impactful archetype of Infinite Forbidden, and for good reason. This new Light Fiend archetype is making waves in the OCG, being a 1-card combo that creates 2 summon effect negations in Wave King Hardy Caesar, or just a Beatrice. This splashable, very small and compact engine is the selling point of Infinite Forbidden. By using the Fiendsmith's effect, you can easily climb into 2 level 6 monsters using only 1 card, which can be made into a Wave King High Caesar or a Beatrice. This combo can also be accessed through the new Moon Goddess of the Closed World, aka Baby Goddess, a generic link to Light Fiend monster that can be used on her own to summon the Fiendsmith Link 1, which on its own is another version of the Fiendsmith combo. So meta players, save up for this one, because this is the competitive edge during the next season. So these are the 3 premier archetypes of the set: Millennium, White Woods, and of course Fiendsmith. But what else is in this set? A ton of legacy support for recent archetypes and some nice standalones. Most notable, probably, and the biggest one of them all, is the Gimmick Puppet support, and this has got to be one kind of sick joke, but yeah, this Zexal FTK deck is getting more tools to FTK, and they're actually extremely good. This deck has a new Mathmech Circular for its archetype in this new lovely lady puppet that can just summon itself and another monster from the deck. And this deck also has various starters and extended that create a well-balanced 1-card combo and new Xyz monsters that burn your opponent. And of course, this has to have a field spell that lets all your monsters be unaffected, right? Yeah, this is just horrible. Drytron is getting a new ritual and a main deck monster that, while being solid, make the deck kind of worse, locking you into summoning only machine ritual monsters. Tenpai Dragon is getting a new Poplar lazy design strikes again, which literally has the same effect. Add it to the hand, special summon it. It also gets a new trap card that can skip your opponent's main phase and go directly to the battle phase, and a new generic fire dragon in Dora Draco that can add any fire dragon monster from your deck. Yikes. Centurion is getting another main deck monster and a new emblema card to make sure they can calamity lock you in more than 2 ways. Light and Darkness Dragon is getting a retrain in the form of a new multi-Omni Negate fusion monster that Branded can actually take advantage of, alongside new main deck monsters to improve light and dark dragon strategies. Illusions are getting their first Link and Xyz monster, hooray, and they're both actually amazing. Phobos Kobos can negate an effect monster and take control of it if it battled, and Top Hair is an amazing new Link 2 monster that can set a trap that can special summon itself as a monster. Combined with cards like the Apophis of the Swamp Deity or the Azurune, this card just adds a generic way to access more negates and interruptions during your opponent's turn. Vesper Girsu is a new quick play evenly match that kind of forces your opponent to make a very difficult choice. If they control 2 or more monsters more than you do, you can force them to send any number of monsters from their field to the graveyard, but with a twist. The less monsters they send, the worse this card effect gets for them. Just read this card, it's insane. And lastly, like I said, this card is a new Maxi, and it's seeing a ton of play in the OCG. Will this mean Maxi is getting banned? I don't know. It's called Mulchami Perulia, and it can be discarded as a quick effect if you control no cards. Then, for the rest of the turn, each time your opponent summons from the hand, you draw 1 card. What? During the end phase though, if you have more cards in your hand than the cards your opponent controls, plus 6, you shuffle random cards back into the deck equal to the number that is the difference. Kinda hard, but it's Maxi, baby. It's okay. And this might actually be a new archetype because the effect of Mulchami Perulia states that you can only activate the effects of other Mulchami monsters once the turn you activate this card. So this is getting scary. And this is Infinite Forbidden. If you want to pick this up, make sure to check out the link in the description below. Use code GALZO5 and answer the question in the comments below. Should you buy Infinite Forbidden? Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.